Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. In our today's lecture, we are going to learn about the chapter number 6, which is a classification and prediction. So let's start. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about the concept like what is the classification and prediction, what are the classification methods. Methods of classifications are decision tree, Bayesian classification, rule-based classification. CART is also another method of classification. Next, we'll learn the neural network and other prediction methods like linear and nonlinear regression, logistic regression. So, next is introduction to the tools such as dbMiner, Weka, or DT-REG data mining tools. So, after the end of the chapter, we'll use one of the data mining tool to perform the classification task or to perform the prediction task, and at the end we'll learn what are the issues regarding classification and prediction. So these are the content that we'll cover in this chapter. So let's start with the first concept. The first concept is what is classification and what is a prediction. So first is classification. So what is classification? So it is used when output is categorical, like yes or no. Yes, if you want to give the answer in yes or no, such like that the person buys t-shirts or jeans, so the answer in yes or no. So in that type of scenario, the classification is used. Classification is a data mining algorithm, and classification is the process of finding a model that describe and differentiate classes or concepts to predict the class of objects whose class label is unknown. So in the classification, first we are creating the model based on our requirement. Suppose we want to classify, we want to differentiate the product, like we want to differentiate products of jeans and t-shirt. Yes, and so for that type of scenario we have to build the model for classification, and this model is now after constructing that model, we can able to do such tasks like we are able to do such tasks like the object is jeans or t-shirt. So based on our requirement, we are building our classification model, and that model is used to predict a class of object whose label is unknown. Yes, so these are the main purpose for the classification. Classification is data mining function that assigns items in a collections to target categories or classes. First, we are just giving the training to the model, and that is called the model constructions. And after that, we are getting results from that model. So here it divides the object into their particular class. The goal of classification is to accurately predict the target class for each case in the data. Yes, so suppose we have a collection of rings, we have a collection of circles, triangles and squares. So here the three classes become square, circles and triangle. Now one unknown type of triangle is given to the model, but the model doesn't know what that object is. So model gone through the process, and after that process it says that yes, this is a triangle. So the model put that unknown object into that particular class. So that process is called the classification. For example, in weather problem, predict whether on particular day will be sunny, rainy or cloudy. Yes, so here based on the parameters, it classifies that the weather is sunny, it is a rainy or the cloudy. So this is also a classification problem. The popular classification techniques are the decision tree, neural network, etc. that we'll learn in our later sessions. Now let's understand it one example. Suppose that classifying fruit from features like color, taste, size, weight, etc. Suppose that the person doesn't know the the person doesn't know the name of fruits. So here we are giving two objects. One is type of we are giving this two type of object to the person, and we also tells the person that the first type of object which color is red, and size is such like a ball, yes, and taste to sweets, it is apple. And second type is second object is in shape it is all shape, and in color it has a yellow color, and also it tastes sweet. Yes, so we are providing the features to the person. So now person now able to identify that if the fruit is red and its shape is like a circle, then it is a apple. And if color is and if color is yellow and its shape is like a all, then it is a mango. So now if we provide the person to one unknown image, yes, this is not such like this image is not like the image that we given to the people, that we given to that person, but now we are giving this unknown image to the person which is somehow different than this image. So now person now that person is differentiate this image based on its features like color, taste, size and weight, and based on that it classified that this product is a apple. So this is how the classification is work. A classification model is working like this. So this is a basic example, so through which we can easily understand what this classification is. So in the classification, in first stage, model doesn't know anything, so just like this person. After that, we are providing data with label. Here this image is a data, and we are providing label with this, that this image is of apple. So this is how we are will train the model based on data and label. And then after, in the model testing, we are giving an unknown image to that model, and now the model based on their previous training is able to classify the product in their proper class. This is classification is. Now various classification techniques are the decision tree, Bayesian classifiers, neural network, logistic regression. So these are the classification technique. By using that, we can able to implement the classification model. That we will learn in our later session. Now classification is a two-step process. As I said that first we are constructing the model, and in second phase we are using that model. So the first is a model constructions. So it describing a set of predetermined classes. Each tuple and sample is assumed to a predefined class as determined by the class label attribute. The set of tuple used for model construction is a training set. The model is represented as a classification rules, decision trees and mathematical formulas. So in the model constructions, as I said that the model, we are creating one model and we are providing the training data to that model. So the model will be trained on that data. So here this is a training data, and this training data is given to the classification algorithm. Suppose it can be a neural network, it can be a decision tree, it can be a Bayesian classifier, etc. Now after training, the classifier model is ready. So here model is constructed, yes, and based now we can able to now we are able to use that model to predict the class label. So next is a model usage. So for classifying the future or the unknown object, this model will used that we have created in our first phase. Now estimate the accuracy of model. So our model is ready, but we need to estimate the accuracy of model, that how much accurate our model is. So the unknown label of test sample is compared with the classified result from the model. Accuracy rate is the percentage of test set samples that are correctly classified by the model, and test set is independent of training set. Yes. So here we are providing one training set. It has some data like this, but the test set, our model is ready. Now we are providing other data as a testing data. So the test data is not same like the training data, because training data is seen by the model, so model can easily answer those questions. Yes. So we are not using the training data, but we are using the testing data, which does not contain any data from a trained model. So that is why it is a different data, and so we can accurately estimate our model, that how much efficient our model is. So this testing data is given to the classifier, and that classifier predict the label of that class. So this is something like that. In this example here, it is a training data. This mango and apple is a training data, that model already seen. Now as a test data, we are providing this unknown image to the model. So that unknown image is a test data to we are providing that unseen data to the model to find that our model is accurate or not. So the accuracy rate is the percentage of the test samples that are correctly classified by model. So if suppose the accuracy rate is 97%, so it means that from 100 test data, the 97 data will correctly classified and 3 is not correctly classified. So this model is very efficient, we can say that. So this is how the classification process is worked in 2 steps. First is a model construction, and second is a model usage. Next is the real life examples of classification. So market basket analysis. So it is a model technique that has been associated with frequent transactions of buying some combination of items. So for example, Amazon and many other retailers use this technique. While viewing some product, certain suggestions for the commodities are shown that some people have bought in this past. We already know what is a market basket analysis. So based on the purchase behavior, some other products will be recommended to the customer. So this type of work is done via the classification. Next is a weather forecasting. So changing patterns in weather condition needs to be observed based on parameters such as temperature, humidity, wind directions. So this skip observation also requires the use of previous records in order to predict it accurately. So the weather department constantly taking the data of temperature, humidity and direction, wind, etc., and based on this the model predicts the future behavior of the weather. So that can be also done with the classification or the prediction problem. Now next concept is what is a prediction. So as we have seen in the classification, we just classify the unseen data into that particular class, but in the prediction it predict the future based on the current data. In the classification, we are not predicting the future, we are predicting just class label, that this product is in which category, while in the prediction we are predicting the future values. So predict the value of a specific attribute based on the value of other attributes. We are like in the weather forecasting, some parameters like temperature, humidity, wind. Yes, so these are the parameters that are responsible to predict the future weather. So here, based on the other parameters, based on the current situation, we are predicting the future. So that is done via the prediction model. So predictive model determine the future outcomes rather than the present behavior. For example, one may predict the kinds of disease based on the symptoms of the patients. So let's understand it with one example here. So this is the symptoms of the patients. So here the vomiting, raw spots, fever, chills, sweating, abdominal pain, muscular ache, joint pain. Yes. So these are the symptoms. Based on these symptoms, based on this attribute, we can say that yes, this is a symptoms of typhoid. So here, based on the symptoms, we are predicting the disease. Like this is a typhoid. It may possible that you are suffering from typhoid. So the doctor is same as working like this. So if we are building the prediction model for this type of situation, so based on the symptoms, if we are adding some types of symptoms that we have filled, so the model predict the disease. So this is called the prediction. This is how the prediction is work. It takes the current attributes, based on the value of attributes, based on the behavior of the attributes value, it predicts the future. So this is how the prediction is worked. Some of the example of predictions are predicting levels of cell that will result from a price change or adverse. Yes, so sometime it may happen that if we add one product on cart, so after some days the price of that product will increase, or after some days price of the product will decrease. So that is done via the prediction, predicting whether or not it will rain based on the current humidity. It is also example of prediction. Predicting the color of poetry glaze based on the mixture of base pigments. Yes, so this is also the prediction based on some attributes. Predicting how far up the charts single will go. Predicting how much revenue a book of debate will bring. So these are the example of prediction in which some attributes, we can say that some value of variable will predicted based on some other value. Here weather is a dependent variable and humidity, winds are the independent variable. So we are predicting the value of dependent variable based on the independent variable. Now predicting sales levels of national newspapers. So here two terms is important, predictors and predicted. Predictors are the attributes based on that we are predicting the futures, we are predicting the another variable. So that predicted value is called the predicted, and the based on the attribute that we are predicting, it is called the predictors. So here predictors are price, front cover story, competition and advertising spends. So based on that variable we are predicting the sales of units. We are predicting sales in unit in the national newspaper. So that is the example of prediction. Next is a difference between classification and prediction. So in the classification is all about determining a class for an elements in database. We are differentiating, we are dividing our data into that particular class level. While in the prediction, it is all about predicting the missing or the unknown elements or the continuous value of data set. In prediction, we are predicting the future values. In classification, data is grouped into the categories based on training data set. Yes, we are just categorizing the data. While in the prediction, a classification of the regression model is built to predict the outcome. In hospital, a grouping of patients based on their medical records or treatment outcome is considered as a classification. while prediction means if you use a classification model to predict the treatment outcome for a new patient, it is considered as a prediction. Based on symptoms, we are predicting its disease, so it is a prediction process. So these are the difference between classification. So this is the difference between classification and prediction. So that is all about the classification and prediction. So in today's lecture we have learned what is classification, what are the techniques of classification, how classification is worked, examples of classification, and next is a prediction, examples of prediction and difference between classification and prediction. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.